Welcome to the Chaotic Stupid Show. This is episode number 3. My name is Derek. I am a cartographer by trade. I handle Elven Tower Adventures, but I don't do it alone. I do it with my co-host Arthur.
Hello everyone, my name is Arthur, and it's a pleasure to be here again.
Alrighty, well, we are very excited about this episode 3 because we have some choice matters we want to discuss. And the first topic of interest today is the appearance of a new challenger in the TTRPG storefront business. And the name of this page is the RPG Trader.
Yep, that's the new guy on the block. RPG Trader is taking the world by storm. A lot of people are saying that this is going to take over not the market, but a big chunk of it, mainly because it's relatively new. It launched in June 9th of this year, so less than a month ago. And their marketplace offers a flat 20% sales commission. So it's considerably low. It's almost half what a Drive-Thru RPG or DM's Guild take from the creators that post there, for example. And it launched in a public beta ahead of an official public release. And the platform saw a rapid initial adoption, 196 users and 390 products within the first 5 days. I guess it goes without saying that you will be seeing some Elven Tower Adventures and products of ours posted there as well soon.
Yeah, well, the big elephant in the room is that more competition is better. Roll20 and Drive-Thru RPG pretty much have the market in a stronghold. There is itch.io as an alternative, and we do have some products. We have a small storefront on itch.io, which actually offers an even better share. The base is 10%, but you can actually lower it down to 0%. But the problem is that itch.io is not focused on TTRPG games. It's a lot more about, well, it's about all kinds of games, but a lot about video games. So it's not the same. We have, I guess the big problem is that the exposure is not that great on itch.io. So maybe RPG Trade is going to be better. We're going to be trying to use it. Last week we had the free RPG day, and we had an account. We don't yet have products there, but I purchased some stuff and the checkout process was fine. I got some free stuff and some paid stuff. I guess it was fine. I want to see how it goes because some competition for the big guys is definitely needed.
I agree. I think competition is always healthy. Many times we see that when a big fish takes over the market and then someone new comes up, that presence of a healthy competition causes the big guy to sometimes change some of their stuff, change some of the things that they do, and it's always positive for the public, for the users, for the consumer.
I agreed. Well, the next thing on our list is we actually wanted to record this video a few days ago, but we didn't because we had our D&D game last night. So we decided to wait for this game and then record today. We're not playing exactly D&D. You guys know it's a Shadowdark RPG session, but like we say, I mean, if it's a medieval game where you go into a dungeon, get the loot, kill the BBEG, and then level up, it's D&D. But it's Shadowdark. And this was a very special game because we had a holy quest and some crazy moments happen. I'm really hyped up for this campaign. This is the 7th session. Take it from here, Arthur.
Okay, the first thing that I want to share is we hit level 3, so our wizard learned the invisibility spell. He's like a bag of all tricks, but he only has 1 damage spell, which is Burning Hands. It does 1d6 of damage, so at this point in the campaign, whenever he casts, I mean, it's cool that he can hit many targets at the same time, but it's only 1d6 damage, so it's become more and more, let's say, underwhelming as a spell. At level 1, he would kill everything that moved in the area of the spell, but now that we're level 3, dealing, let's say, 3-4 points of damage to 3-4 enemies, it's not that relevant or game-changing anymore.
Yeah, he needs something better.
Quickly. But he learned invisibility and he's making the thief in the party invisible. So every time that we have a combat, if we can prepare a little, he goes and casts invisibility on the thief and then he takes a good position, and we open the combat with a free backstab against one of the opponents, and it's been great. I think it's kind of overkill sometimes, but it's been great. And yesterday we experienced for the first time a natural 20, a critical hit in one of those backstabs. So it was a total of 6d6s.
Yeah, 66.
It was a total of 6d6s, and I mean, that was amazing to watch. And our friend Martin, he was super hyped to roll that amount of dice.
Yeah, and it's worth to mention that if you are not familiar with a game like Shadowdark RPG, the sneak attack for the thief or the rogue, it doesn't work the same as in D&D. In D&D, it's expected that you can do a sneak attack every round, and they do tons of damage, but you pretty much do it every round. I think the only prerequisite is that you have to be flanking or have someone else distracting your enemy a little. But in OSR games, you cannot do it that easy.
It doesn't happen that often.
Yeah, the requirement is that the opponent cannot be aware of you, your presence, or that the attack is coming. So if you are in combat, pretty much you don't do a backstab anymore. You have to either you have to open the fight with that, or you have to do like a two-man team and do invisibility and then do it again. So sometimes he only does that in the first round of battle when he's hidden or invisible. And then after that, just regular attacks, but they are very impactful. We had some crazy fights yesterday. But first...
Yeah, it was a very good session. It was very fun.
Yeah, well, we were in a dungeon in the sewers underneath a city where there was like an outbreak of fungal-themed monsters. It was kind of themed after the Last of Us video game and TV show series. So there was like if you've played that game or watched that TV series, all the mushroom fungal growth on the walls and the floor and the mushroom folk monsters. But there was a very special reason why the characters were compelled to come in this place. What was that, Arthur?
Yeah, the thing is that my priest was punished by her god, Saint Taragnis. Long story short, we basically tortured a guy to make him reveal important information, but it was rough. The guy would not break, and the thief and the wizard, I guess they kind of released their inner demon on this guy, and he was tortured. And by the point he revealed what we wanted to hear, the guy was in shambles. He was missing fingers and shit. So my priest got punished for that because I did not stop them from doing this, and I just stood there and watched. So the next day when I woke up, I had a nightmare. My character had a nightmare, and my god, the goddess Saint Arachnis, she punished me, and I lost all access to all my spells and magic.
No spells.
So I knew what I had to do. Yeah, exactly. No magic, no spells. I knew what I had to do. I spoke with a priest, and I went to the church for some guidance, and I knew that I had to start this divine journey. And actually, it's part of the book. It's part of the rules that whenever a priest displeases their god, they have to go on a quest, and it's called a penance. It's a penance quest, and this is what I did. I decided to go to the sewers to find the body of the person that we've tortured and killed, and in the end we decided to hide the body in the sewers because we know that monsters were there, so that was a good way to hide the body, but it was all messed up. So I decided to go there to recover the body and then speak with the family of this person and confess my crime. So that was it. That's why we were in the sewers doing all this.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. Then again, last episode of the Chaotic Stupid Show, we mentioned that we were playtesting some very small system-neutral system for exploring vast dungeon locations. We called it depth crawling with style. Probably gonna have like a little image right here about it. And it's very simple. It's not very deep, but it's about exploring large locations where each point of interest is separated by maybe 20 minutes to an hour, like how it is in the Lord of the Rings when they explore the mines of Moria. Like each location is separated by hours of travel. So this dungeon in the sewers, it was combined with a network of caverns that reached the Underdark, and there was also another dungeon down there that it was there since before the city was built. Of course, they didn't learn this because they skipped some areas, but that's what I wanted to say. So we had this mechanic where you roll an exploration die, and depending how good it is, maybe there's some random events on the way, and maybe you actually skip some of the numbered areas and you like take some shortcuts and go ahead. At some point, Arthur rolled like what you would call like a critical hit, and they moved ahead like 7 areas in the list. There was a total of 12 visitable areas, but they skipped 6 and pretty much rushed to the end of the dungeon where there was the final fight, got what they needed, which was the body of this tortured commander. And then once they had it, they were like, you know what, we have what we wanted, let's bounce out. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on this, Arthur, about how it felt. Like, to be real, you pretty much skipped half the dungeon because you skipped 6 areas, then just explored like one or two more, and you were like, you know what, it's not worth it our time. We got both the BBG and 2 vaults, and we're like, you know what, let's bounce. And there were some more treasure around there, some encounters, and also all the lore for the dungeon. There were like 3 or 4 areas with lore that you skipped. In the end, you didn't learn anything about the place, only a suggestion of it. So was it worth it? How did that feel? Tell me your thoughts.
I guess it's a matter of risk and reward. I believe that taking into account that we had already beaten the boss, we had already gotten some treasure, and we had what we needed, which was the body of this person. My character, the priest Mirla, she was satisfied with the mission and she was ready to leave and continue her penance, because even when I got the body, I still had to go back to that guy's family and speak with them, and you know, atone for my sins. So character, like in the mind of my character, the job was done. Now, speaking as a player, yeah, I felt kind of curious to see the rest of the dungeon, but I guess at some point you have to kill your darlings. Like, it's like going to the casino. You have already won some stuff and you can continue, you know, the game and continue betting, but there is a risk. So yeah, I didn't see the point in, you know, traversing the rest of the dungeon just because of the lore and the possible treasure that we could find. That would have diminished the importance of the good roll that I had in the depth crawl of the dungeon. Like, what's the point of getting to the end of the dungeon quickly if the party as a whole is going to go back room by room exploring it? I don't know. So in the end, yeah.
I was gonna say there was a very interesting interaction that I noticed. Area number 3 in the dungeon was clearly a safe room that you could return to rest and get back your strength. And twice you went back to this room to rest a little and you could get a spell back there. But then you rolled that critical exploration roll and you went up to, I think it was area 11. And you had a fight there, and after the fight you were like, well, maybe we should rest a little again. But I told you, if you want, you can go back to the safe room. But if you do that, all this extra progress of skipping 6 areas is gonna be lost because you have to roll again. So you guys decided to push forward to reach the end of the dungeon instead of going back to rest, and I thought that was a very interesting interaction.
Yes, I think it's not only interesting, but I think it makes sense, and it makes this depth crawling, it makes it work. Otherwise, it would be kind of too easy. If we got to the end of the dungeon and then we can just go back any areas that we wanted and then just return to the end of the dungeon with little to no consequences, it would be too easy, no risk at all.
And then, well, the last part of this, you wanted to talk about the fight with the boss, well, the boss fight, the BBEG fight. What about it?
I guess what I just wanted to share here is the ironic situation where you, the GM, you prepare a boss fight, and we get there, and it was like divine retribution for my character, because even though I had no magic, the priest in Shadowdark, as in Dungeons and Dragons 5e, they're not just a guy with a robe and a Bible. Like they both, in both systems, they know how to use weapons and armor. So I felt like a paladin, like a divine warrior fighting against the dark and evil forces of the universe. And I think the gods were on my side, because I rolled like 5 different natural 20s throughout the dungeon, and I rolled 2 natural 20s against that fight, against that boss. And we also had a good shot, a good roll by our thief, and he backstabbed the boss for 21 points of damage or something. I think it was great. I think it was good, but it's one of those situations where you have a boss that dies in, let's say, the first 3 rounds of combat without really getting us into trouble. How did you feel the combat was?
Lucky on your side. The thing is, I cannot prepare for you guys rolling so many 20s. No. Because what I could do is just add more minions. But if you don't get those 20s, it's going to be a massacre. Maybe a 3rd Mushroom Folk minion would have balanced it out as it was. But without the 20s, I don't know.
Yeah, but then, I mean, it is what it is. Some fights that are seemingly easy for us get kind of troublesome because of the 20s that you roll. So it is just what it is.
Yeah.
That's what a critical hit does. In a seemingly easy combat can become troublesome and dangerous for the party from one round to the other. Yeah.
All right.
It's just what it is.
It is what it is. Well, we'll stay hyped for session number 8 of our Shadowdark campaign. We'll let you know in the next episode of the Chaotic Stupid Show. Now, there's something we haven't ever shared in our online presence here, which is that we are great fans of the game Magic the Gathering. We actually started playing this game before we ever played D&D. There was a game store here in our city where it was very popular to play either D&D or the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. But we played D&D because we were more like medieval fantasy oriented. And we started playing that game. We played it for a while. And there were some people playing TTRPG games there, and that's how we got started. But we have played Magic the Gathering for a long while. It's even longer than D&D. And later, we also abandoned it for like a decade and then went back to it like 2 years ago. And we've been playing nonstop with our best friend.
It's more like 4 or 5 years ago, but it comes and goes. Like we play for 3 months and then we leave it and forget about it and then we play again.
Yeah.
But the reason for this conversation is my question to Magic the Gathering. Like my brother said, this was our first contact with Wizards of the Coast before Dungeons and Dragons. My question to Wizards of the Coast is, where are you going? What are you doing?
And how fast?
I mean, what's the objective? What's the end goal? Where's the finish line? Because
there's no finish line.
And that, I think that is a problem. Because we were reading some data before this conversation, and what strikes me as crazy is there are at the beginning of this year, there are 29,000 unique cards, and this number pumps up to 86,000, including alternate art versions, extended art treatments, and showcase frames and whatever and whatnot.
Crazy work.
Yeah, exactly. So I see 2 problems here. The first is that with cards and new cards coming and being released so fast, I think it's not a sustainable project for any player to have a commander deck or a pauper deck, and then you see more and more cards being pumping out. So you start to question yourself, so maybe my deck can be improved. But if you have to ask yourself that question every 2 months, I don't know if that's a healthy thing for the hobby.
You also kind of have to ask that question because power creep is inevitable when you are releasing that many cards. Like when you see cards from like last year's set and compare them to cards that were released 2 decades ago, and compare, let's say, 2 different monster cards that are worth 3 mana to cast, and they are very different.
Yes, yeah. The name, the card name that comes to my mind is Ravagan. That monkey is just crazy. And that card 2 decades ago, like you say, it was just unimaginable. People wouldn't, if you had told people that started to play in 1994, yeah, this is going to be a card in the future, they would have said, you're crazy.
It's crazy because
the game is not like that.
You can cast in. Let's get an image right here of the Ravagan card. If you cast it normally, it's like 1 colorless and 1 red mana. That's what it costs.
Yeah.
And what you say is true. If you go 2 decades back or 3, and then you get another card that costs 2 mana, it's probably just gonna be like a 2/2 elf that does nothing.
Yeah.
A 2/2 goblin that
and
does
that was
nothing.
fine. And,
yeah,
and
was
that
fine.
was fine. And that was a good card. Let's say like a standard card. A 3/3 beast elephant that was 4 mana, one green and 3 colorless. And that was the nature of the game. And I think it was fine. And many of the abilities that were staples before, they just disappeared. And every year and every year for the past 4 or 5 years, they're pumping out not only more cards, but more abilities and more synergies and more situations that evolve the game in a not so healthy direction, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the Wikipedia page with all these standard sets that have been released. It starts with Arabian Nights in 1993. And the last column you see here on screen tells you the total cards that are part of that set. So, of course, it starts with Antiquities, Legends, Dark, Fallen Empires. All these sets came out before we even started playing. I remember when Mirage was at no, where did we start? We started playing with Invasion, I think.
There, Invasion. Yeah, Invasion was, that's a logo that I remember well because I was basically 10 years old when we started playing. And that was the new set. That was the new set on the block. And we would purchase, I remember Odyssey because I remember that one of the cards that I liked about that set because you got one
the Mirari.
Yeah, exactly. You got a Mirari in one of the booster packs, and that was like, whoa, like a great find. But now you think of the Mirari today, and it's just meh. The Mirari.
It's too expensive.
And back, yeah, exactly. It's too expensive for 5 mana. But you remember back then how hyped people were?
I mean, it was never the greatest card, but it was okay. I believe we stopped playing around the Mirrodin Darksteel era.
Yeah,
Kamigawa was coming out and we weren't playing anymore. And then a few years passed, and when we came back,
many years, like more than a decade, because we moved to Canada.
And you just look at this,
our lives went into a different direction, and then we came back to Mexico, and I think we went back to the hobby in about 2020, 2021.
Yeah, because this is crazy work. All these different sets that came out, all this crazy stuff, and here I am at 2023, Lost Caverns of Ixalan, Manor, Duskmourn, House of Horror. I think Bloomburrow isn't this the one with the Hobbit and?
Bloomburrow is an edition, a set with a nice, cute animals,
rabbits, I
rabbits
right.
and whatnot, and raccoons.
But then, which is the Lord of the Rings themed one, the first one?
It's below in the modern legal sets.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the first Lord of the Rings one, Lord of the Rings: Tales of Middle Earth, which came out in June 23. But going back here, we can see the shift in how Wizards of the Coast is managing all this, because we all know that Magic the Gathering is its own universe or multiverse with a lot of stuff. But around at some point they decided to branch out for all different universes. It's just a different thing. Like here we have a Final Fantasy set. Then there's the Marvel Spider-Man set, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Strixhaven is Dungeons and Dragons. I guess you could say it's the same universe. Maybe I disagree, but whatever. Marvel Superheroes. Then the new The Hobbit. And then there's going to be
announced. And there's going to be a Star Trek one, yeah.
A Star Trek apparently in November 2026. So many things are still
and
to be announced.
And it's just weird. I mean, some people that have played the game for more than 20 years, they see Spider-Man in their cards and they feel an itch. And they ask themselves, is this the same game anymore? And if you know this very famous Magic the Gathering channel, Tolarian University, I love those videos. I love the videos from that guy because he has a very objective opinion on what's going on with the game. And something that he said in one of his videos that really
resonated?
Yeah, exactly. That really resonated with me was if the Spider-Man set had, let's say, maybe 3 or 4 commanders that are Spider-Man as a character, it would be kind of cool because you had like you would have 3 or 4 unique cards with Spider-Man. But I believe that he counted in his video that there are like 36 or 38 different Spider-Man commanders that you can have. So the options are so many that it kind of dilutes the importance of this heroic character. You have 38 to choose from, so they are not unique
there
anymore.
Are too many. Yeah, it's too diluted.
And then if you pull that page again and you take a look at the release dates, some of the sets that came out, let's say, go up to 1997, 1998.
It's all the way up. 1 second. It's right here.
Like, take a look at the year of the releases. Like, you can see there that 1997, 1996, they had 3 sets. That was everything. That was all that happened in that year.
1997 had 3 sets, yes. 1998 had 3 sets too.
3 sets too, yeah. So that was like the standard, right? 1999, 3 sets. In 2000, 3 sets, 3 per year. And the number of cards is important too. You have sets that have 143 new cards. Yeah, that's not that many. And it's not that overwhelming.
It's also divided by blocks, as you can see. And each block had a big release of cards and then 2 secondary releases with pretty much half the number of cards.
Yeah. But then go back, go to this current year or decade.
I mean, they kept the 3 sets per block for a while. Some of these have 2. But then, what this page calls the 3-on-1
model. 2020, 2021 is the moment that things started to snowball into insanity.
Let's see, this is 2021.
Like, for example, there, every set is above 270 cards. All of them.
Also, 2021 had 5 sets released.
And that became the new staple, the new rule of thumb. More than 1,000 cards per year.
Yeah. And then you come down to 2025 as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 releases in 2025. And then for 2026, at least what's announced in 2026, there's 7 releases planned. I mean, some of these say to be announced, but maybe one of them will be delayed. But there's 7 releases for 2026.
Yeah, it's crazy. Of course, everything becomes a market, but the prices of some of the cards, it's insanity. And that's one of the reasons that we don't play anymore, because you have a deck, you have a set of cards that you like to play with, and then 2 months later, you start to question yourself, so maybe I should buy some booster packs or get this card or this card. But then it becomes a hobby that, in my opinion, it's become too expensive.
Yeah. It's not sustainable long term.
So going back to the numbers that I said before, 29,000 unique cards. So I think one of the problems, the main problems now is that, let's say that you become 15, 16 years old today, and you say, oh, Magic the Gathering is a trading card game. It seems interesting to me. So you start to know a little bit more about the hobby, but then you realize that you're so late to the party that I think Magic the Gathering has become impossible to be a new hobby to get into. Yeah. How do you convince someone to get into that game today?
I mean, I guess the only way is to lend them a deck that you have instead of getting them to start purchasing stuff. I don't know. It's like watching the One Piece anime. They have over 1,000 episodes. I'm never gonna watch that.
Yeah, we were speaking with that. We were mentioning that yesterday at our session. One of our players is a great anime fan, and he loves One Piece. But yeah, I'm with my brother in this one. I am not spending
episodes.
Exactly. I'm not spending months of my life watching the same thing when I can, spend that same time watching 8, 10, 25 different shows.
Yeah, I'll never watch it. And it's crazy when they start saying stuff like, yeah, please push through it. It gets so good by around episode 130. No, F that. I'm not gonna watch all that. What if I don't like it? Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for watching. This is the end of our third episode of the Chaotic Stupid Show. We covered some pretty cool stuff, and we're gonna see you in the next one. My name is Derek. This is Solvent Our Adventures, and my co-host is Arthur Ruiz.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.